Hey folks, making a quick video here to discuss outlines and how to go from note charts into outlining using the numbered list tool in Google Docs. So first thing is in Google Classroom, take a look at the classwork page. You're going to notice that you've got a couple new assignments posted up here. One we're going to be talking about obviously is the outline. I've got a template that you can take a look at, which is great. Gives you exactly what I'm looking for in the outline. And I've also got an example. So you can see here's what a finished outline looks like. And 6 pages is quite a bit. So use these two things to help guide your outline creation. But if you take a look at your document, you should see outline dash your name. And I think it's up in the top right-hand corner for students. But open up that document and we'll get started. Obviously, update this information like your title and other things. And then we are going to be using the numbered list tool. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see this. This is the numbered list tool. If you hover over it, you can see that name. And I like to use this one because it uses Roman numerals, letters, and numbers. So it's really clear for me to see my different hierarchy between paper sections, subsections within that paper, and then support that I'm going to use within that section, which I'll show you here in a second. So I'm going to click on this guy and start a list. And I'm going to start off with the big sections of my papers. So the first section of my paper that's going to be about a page long is my introduction of topic. Second section, and I just hit enter there to make another one. Another bullet is going to be perspective 1, and I'm going to do mine on gun control. So we're going to do opponent of gun control, my first perspective. And then my second perspective would be supporters of gun control. And the last section of my paper is going to be conclusion, my conclusion. And in fact, I want you to put this up here in the Roman numerals, but don't outline your conclusion yet. I don't want to know your conclusion. I don't even want you thinking about your conclusion yet. I want you to thinking about how am I best going to introduce this topic? How am I going to give these two perspectives fair and equal time in my research paper? Okay, so there are 4 sections. And what I would suggest is that you're going to start by outlining the two perspectives first, and then go back and introduce your topic. I always think it's way easier to introduce something when I know exactly what I'm going to be writing about. So outline those sections of your papers first. So for opponents of gun control, what I might try to do is let's put some subtopics and some support underneath here. So if I hit the return key, it makes another bullet, but it makes another bullet point in this line. I don't want it to be a new section of my paper. I want it to be a section of this section. So here's where it gets a little tricky. With my cursor blinking right at the beginning of this bullet point, I'm going to press tab. See how that moves my bullet point over, and then all of these go back to being section 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I keep pressing tab, it's going to move things to the right. And if I hold down shift and press tab, it's going to move things to the left. I can also do that with these 2 buttons up here. So I can move things left, move things right, and I can do that for any bullet. I can move it right, I can move it left. But what I'm going to do is build some subtopics underneath here. So subtopics under my first perspective obviously going to be as my intro. Don't quite know what I'm going to do for that yet. But for my part B, it's going to start being the arguments of why do people believe that they should oppose gun control, that the United States should oppose gun control. So I might hop over to my note chart, and one of the strongest arguments that I hear a lot on this side is that is this quote right here, the idea that taking away law-abiding citizens' ability to defend themselves, they insist, will not reduce gun violence, but it will empower criminals. Everyday people need to have guns to protect themselves. So this topic is going to be citizen protection. And underneath that, I'm going to paste this quote. And I'm also going to list where that quote came from. So I'm going to grab that in-text citation, and I'm going to drop it in there. And then I'm going to continue to do that for whatever I need for my next subtopic, and so on and so forth. So use those templates, use those examples, and good luck, folks.